Cotman, Crawford, and the Jersey Guy podcast.
Hey everybody, Kenny Cotman.
Louis Crawford.
And I'm Tom Ramage, the Jersey Guy.
All right, yeah.
I lip synced that one.
Right, it was good.
Yo, that's funny.
You're
as
right
hell.
on the money with that, too.
Yeah. What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on with you guys?
Same old mess, different day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long day, bro. It was a long day today. But I'm chilling today.
I'm good, too.
It's all gravy, baby.
Holla.
Yeah. See, I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Fuck this guy. I wasn't trying to go there, see? I was trying to be... This was gonna be
Well, you're the one who
PG.
made it uncomfortable. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. So everybody's good?
Yeah.
All right, cool beans. Yeah. Today's topic is...
Well, I figured we do it on vaping.
There we go.
Vaping.
Yeah.
Positives and the negatives.
Of vaping.
The pros and
The
cons.
pros and the cons.
Yep.
So,
One outweighs the other.
so have you ever vaped?
So I will say, yes,
Okay.
I vaped, and I vaped a lot. So what had happened was I was smoking cigarettes, and I woke up one day and I literally, bro, I coughed up this crazy loogie. It was like a brown color. It was insane. And I got scared. I got scared as fuck. Like, that's just the nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
It made me so nervous. I was like, oh my God, what's that? What is that? What is that? And I said I wasn't going to smoke anymore. I smoked. I had like 6 cigarettes in my pack of cigarettes.
Yep.
And that was it. I was done. I didn't smoke anything for about 3 days. And then I went to vaping because I didn't want to have to go back.
Right,
So
right.
back when when vaping first started,
Right.
the
Nobody
idea
really
was
knew
that-
what the deal was with
right.
that.
And it was like, this is going to help you quit. This is going to help you quit. And what I did was what I don't hear a lot of people doing now. But again, because everything you see and or hear is just, it's the double nicotine, it's the this and the that,
Right,
and the
right.
vaping.
When you don't need the nicotine at all.
Right. So what I started to do was I went and I got a lower dosage, or I guess I'm going to call it dosage, of nicotine in the vape. Because then they say that it's just that hand to mouth. It's just that habit.
Right.
That's
It's
the
that
hardest
oral,
part to
the
break.
oral fixation.
Right. So that then now I was like, all right, cool. Then I went in and I started buying. I bought the mod and the whole thing.
Right.
And I bought flavors, but zero nicotine.
Right.
And then it just broke me out of the habit of,
Right.
of needing to have that nicotine. And I didn't have any, I'm going to say I didn't have any negative feeling, side effects or whatever from vaping. I'm going to say though too, I only vaped for maybe 2 years, if that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that then
That's fine.
right, and it was like more like an on and off because it was, my.
It wasn't like you
mind would
needed
break-
it or...
yeah, like it was because of different flavors, and
Right.
then when then the different smoke shops were opening up, and they were introducing the different mods, and the mod is the power box, like the battery for it, the whole big thing. So then you could program
you
it. I had
pull
the
it
nifty
on
shit
it
too,
and-
bro.
Yeah, I know.
Then you could turn around, and you could program how much smoke you want to get out of it
Wow.
because that was what the art was. That's what it came in. Like if you're ever in the car and you're driving and you see this big puff of smoke, it's not that the car is fucking on fire.
Right, no, I know.
It's just
It's people
no,
vaping.
I'm not saying you. I didn't mean it to you.
But I
meant
see it all the time. People
Yeah,
vape
and
all the
because
time.
people just vape and they get
Nice
that big
clouds.
thing. Exactly. So that then I had all that stuff.
crazy.
Yeah. So that
Crazy,
that's,
man.
Crazy, and that's what it was, And then I just like, and the missus was like, "Oh, you need to stop vaping." I'm like, you know what? True enough, because now I quit. The idea was
Right.
to quit smoking, so I wasn't inhaling anything, and then the money saved. I think that when I quit smoking, cigarettes were about, I want to tell you, $7, $8 a pack, something like that. And now they're like, what, 15? Something like that, 12, 15, depending, I guess, on what cigarette you get and, all that stuff. But anyways, the point was that I vaped. I don't think I had any crazy, I don't remember having any
Right.
crazy
So
side
it
effects.
helped
and
you
whatnot.
out. It
helped
worked the way
me
you
out.
wanted it to.
Right. And like I said, but people
sure.
aren't, they're still doing it with the nicotine.
Right.
So now what did you find on that?
Well, first I want to, I quit cigarettes, but at that time, vape wasn't available.
Oh, you haven't smoked that long?
Yeah, I smoked that long. It'll be, I'm going on almost 30 years, I think,
Oh,
without
wow.
a cigarette.
Okay. I thought it was less time than that. Okay.
No, it's a long time now, but I had to use the patch, which I didn't mind, and it worked for me.
Did it?
Oh, it was when I did it that way, I quit. I used it for probably 4 months, and I did it in the way they gradually break it down. Like you do so many months or whatever it was at that time, or weeks, and then you kind of wean yourself off of it, kind of thing. So, and that worked for me. And I knew if once I made it to 1 year, I was home free. Okay. I said, if I can make it to a year, then, but I still was I used to carry a patch in my pocket, in my wallet. I had it in there for years. I think I finally threw it away. I had it for like over 20 years in my wallet, just as a backup, just in case if for some reason I wanted to, like, just something that I just kept in my wallet from back in the day, and just never threw it out. So, I
used to work with. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I used to work with a guy who quit when he quit smoking. He had because he was like the lead carpenter at the workplace I worked at, so he had an office. And he had like a pack of cigarettes that was like 20 years old that was still open. He's like, I never got rid of the cigarettes. He's like, I quit, but he was keeping it as like symbolic.
Yeah.
So
he probably smells them.
Yeah.
Puts them down.
They gotta stop smelling after a while.
No, I'm sure.
That's
right?
funny. Yeah, no, but that's what I was
where
doing.
he quit.
He saved the pack of
Right.
cigarettes.
Whatever works for you, man. Yeah. So like, well, it's a TV show, but Beretta always had the cigarette in his ear. Kojak had the lollipop.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So everybody had their thing that helped them stay, from that particular thing.
Yeah.
I didn't drink for 3 years.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I would drink club soda and cranberry is what I would drink. Because I didn't want to have alcohol because I was afraid that would
really
make me go back. And once I got past a few years, I was comfortable enough to have liquor without, or drink without having to get a crave. Because usually when I always quit, I would wind up going back because I went out. I was at the bar, and then I wound up on a cigarette, and then next thing you know, I have a pack in my fucking car.
See, so I'm the crackhead in this because when I would drink, I wouldn't smoke. If I smoked while I was drinking alcohol, I'd get nauseous.
Right. See, that's funny.
Yeah. So then
I wish that happened to me.
Yeah. So then I didn't even bother. But like I said, I never, it was just that's what it was.
Right.
So now, as far as the vaping, right now, of course, many moons later, we find out that these are the things that can happen to you.
Right. A bunch of stuff. That certain flavors can hurt you. Right. I think certain flavors you got to watch out for too.
What?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's for regular vaping, but I know for cannabis. There was a lot of these, like, they weren't legal dispensaries.
Oh, that's right.
They were selling, like, their own made up or not from this country, or, I don't know where the shit's from, but it's not like legit. Like,
right. It wasn't made it. It wasn't regulated at all.
Non-regulated. Right. Yeah. And it was what was the flavor? Butter flavor. It had this butter flavor, and it did some fucked up shit to your lungs, but they nicknamed whatever it was popcorn lung because of the butter flavor.
Wow.
Popcorn,
that's
hilarious. Well, I wonder, and
popcorn lung. Yeah, you could look it up. I don't know if you want to look it up.
We'll look it up later.
Because, the wild part is, like I said, I remember all the flavors that I used to get from when I used to smoke. Hit the vape.
Yeah.
And I had Coca-Cola, I had cherry Coke, I had vanilla. Said just regular cherry, grape. Nerds. I had a Nerds flavor.
I don't even know half the shit because I've never vaped. The only time I may have vaped is if I was smoking.
Yeah.
Right.
But that would be the only time.
So then, was it that all the just only certain flavors?
That didn't happen until way later too.
It was that whatever the flavor that was associated with butter, whatever chemical they used to give it the butter flavor.
Right.
Like
that's what
was the shit
messing up people's.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And it's scary too because. For a little bit, I was going to a dispensary that wasn't a new. It was like a regular dispensary, and it was in New Jersey.
There's been a few that they closed down here in New York because they weren't legit. Like the ones that are legal are open, but the ones that aren't, they've been shutting them down.
Yeah.
So they don't have the right licensing or whatever it was, or they didn't do whatever it was that they didn't have in order for them to be open. They weren't legit
for hemp. I mean, for marijuana. For
hemp.
marijuana. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
they shut them down.
See, that's wild, man.
So because they regulate it,
right?
That's why, and they don't want that shit being out there because they it has to be what it is that, and you don't want people going
Right,
and
yeah,
infringing and then hurting other people,
right?
shit
Yeah,
like that.
definitely. Because I know they busted a bunch of places in Manhattan, well, in the 5 boroughs in New York City, that they were illegal spots.
They busted that weed bust. Remember the weed bust that we used to see all the time?
In Jersey?
Yeah. It was legit. He didn't have a license.
They finally busted him.
Yeah,
he went for a long time, that guy. All through COVID, that guy went through.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was open before they legalized it in Jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that possible?
Because they were doing the gift system.
Huh?
That was going around for a little bit.
Right.
It was where places were able to. You were legally allowed to have marijuana in Jersey. This is before they actually legalized the dispensaries. You were legally allowed to have it, but you weren't allowed to sell it.
So you had to sell the.
So what they would do is they would sell you a bottle of Coke or whatever, and you'd pay $100 for a bottle of Coke and get
you get a brick.
Yeah, you get some weed. You know what I mean?
Right, you get
like
your
an
shit.
Ounce. Well,
Get
no,
your-
that's
$100 is cheaper
Right.
an ounce. You get like half ounce or whatever.
Right.
But it would be like half a gift, half ounce gift,
Yeah.
1 ounce gift.
Right, I got you.
So, you know what I?
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah, so, but let's get back to,
so
there is vaping, though, of course, with THC as well.
Right.
So I'm sure it would apply to both, even though it mainly, a lot of people vape just to vape, right? They say, okay, here's the pros. Less harmful than smoking. Vaping is generally considered to be less harmful than traditional cigarettes, as it typically contains fewer toxins and chemicals. So it says here, health risks. This is the cons.
Right.
Although vaping is less harmful than smoking, it still carries health risks. Long-term effects are not fully understood, and some studies suggest potential damage to the lung and cardiovascular system.
See, so now I always thought that vaping was so when I first started to vape, they were saying it was advertised, if you will, that it was medical grade, quote unquote, medical grade products. So like saline and stuff like that they would use in the hospital to make it that it was safe for you to do it. So when they did whatever surgeries or like when you're breathing and taking in the oxygen stuff and everything that they put in, that it was supposed to be safe, that vaping wasn't going to hurt you and whatnot.
But they didn't really know back then.
Exactly.
They didn't have enough. They had to, once it started, there was I guess they didn't really have a lot of information, and then they had to learn from where it started. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
now they know more.
Sense. Right.
Of course. So.
Because why I also started to vape was the little bit of research the research that I did, and I guess for what it was when I did it, was that this guy, a few people, they were smoking cigarettes, they were coughing and all crazy. They had x-rays and they were showing x-rays on the, that they had gone and went to their doctor and it looked all dark and it was all funky. And the guy goes back like a year later and same doctor, whatever. And like, yeah, look, my lungs have cleared up and this is great. And they're showing another x-ray of a clean. Yeah, I know not everything on online is supposed to be real, but I was like, oh, that's it. I'm not gonna, my lungs are going to clear up in a freaking year. I'm good. So that's what it is. And now, I mean, I've watched a few shows, sci-fi shows, and they call people in like the year, 2099, that they have vape lung.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that because of all like now nobody's smoking any cigarettes
anymore. They're just doing the vaping.
Just vaping, and
it graduated from one thing to the next.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So it's all
traded one vice for another.
Yeah. Right. So then now, vaping is essentially, if I'm wrong, I thought we were talking about that before, that it's all the chemicals or half the chemicals of what you would get from a cigarette, right? To get the flavors and stuff.
So we'll go through some of them. So no tobacco odor. Vaping does not produce the lingering smoke smell that traditional cigarettes do, making it more socially acceptable in certain environments. So then I go to number 2 here, and it says nicotine addiction. This is the cons.
Right.
Okay. Many vaping products contain nicotine, which is highly addictive. This can make it difficult to quit and may lead to dependence. So you would definitely get addicted to it for sure.
Yeah.
And I've seen people smoke. Like I know some people who will vape, and they, that's. Like if I was smoking cigarettes, like the way we smoke cigarettes.
I mean, to start chain vaping.
Right, yeah.
For
what
sure.
I mean? And they got it in their hand all the time and they're taking big drags off of it,
one of the most addictive
Mm-hmm.
substances because like I knew people who were like former like heroin addicts who couldn't stop smoking. Like they couldn't like quit fucking smoking because cigarettes are that fucking addicting. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
but is
it was easier for them to quit heroin than it was to quit cigarettes. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
But now, is it the nicotine or is it all the other chemicals that they put in?
Well, I'm sure the other stuff doesn't help either. I mean, look at all the things that are in cigarettes. I mean, there's other than tobacco, you're getting whatever else they put in there. And they basically came out and said that it was to make it more addictive.
Right. Okay.
So they were doing that already.
Yeah.
They had to admit that. So.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's crazy. Like people like, my father, when he died from lung cancer from smoking.
I didn't know that.
I used to bring him to his oncology visits, to get chemotherapy, and like in the parking garage, he would try to finish a cigarette before going chemotherapy.
Yeah.
That's how addicted he was.
Oh my God,
that's insane. Bro.
But isn't it? That's sad. You know, I mean, I feel you kind of like. It just takes you over, right? You like this one thing, no matter what, it's bad for you. But I'm going for chemo, and then it's just.
Well, but then that's the addictive personality,
right? But still, even with everything that's going on, it still has that much power over you.
Yeah. It's insane, and I guess if you're going to be able to vape to get off of the nicotine,
right.
You know what I'm saying? To break that habit, then so be it. Like you said, for you it was the patch. For me it was actually to vape and whatnot. But I know there are people that just can't even vaping. I bought people vapes, bro, vape pens and the whole thing just to get off, like with zero nicotine or little nicotine, and they just can't stop smoking. Like they like it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I know.
So here, this says here, helps some quit smoking. Vaping be a helpful tool for people who are trying to quit smoking, but gradually reducing nicotine intake, right? So gateway to smoking, vaping may serve as a gateway to smoking for some, particularly among the youngest users.
See? Yeah. Now, and that's the thing though too.
Among young users.
So the young users
So it's the same for us with cigarettes.
Well, I'm saying that
we were young when we started,
but they shouldn't be selling. I don't think they should be selling nicotine vape over the counter.
Well, it's probably only 21 in most states anyway. I would think.
Well, all right, fair enough. Yeah,
so,
all right.
But it's technically, and it doesn't mean they still can't get their hands on it.
Well, wait, how old do you have to be to buy cigarettes? Is it 18 or 21?
I think it's 21. Yeah,
Shut up.
21.
Yeah. You see, that's how long it's been.
Yeah, I think it's 21. So it's the same for vaping. Whatever it is for smoking, I'm pretty sure the rule is it's the same for vaping.
Oh yeah, I know that. I'm sure. I'm sure, but I didn't even know how old. I thought it was 18 to party, 21 to drink. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't even think about that.
Now it's 21 to party and drink.
No, it's 21 to party and drink.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can be right. Okay.
That's
and 18
wild.
to vote.
Ain't that some shit?
But that's a good one though. 18 is a good age for that.
Yeah. It's just wild though. Like I said, just you think about society knows that people have addictive personalities.
Right.
And
we all do to some extent, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, to some
extent. But I think we know how to balance. There are things you like in your life, right? I shouldn't say they're addictive. We just are better at other people. Some people are not as good as others who can balance their life in a way where they're able to just not, overindulge themselves with something.
And that's why vaping is the issue. I'm sure that if it's like anything else, in moderation, it's like now. Coffee 2 years ago was like, oh, it's good for you. It helps you out with this.
Still good for you.
Last week, it was something different when I was watching TV. You know what I'm saying? It was like, coffee doesn't do this for you. It messes you up on that. You eat this kind of seafood. You eat that, whatever. There's always pros and cons
moderation,
to everything.
Because it's moderation.
In moderation. So then now.
Not every day, 4 cups a day.
Right. So then
that's not going to work.
If vaping can help you quit smoking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But again, it's in moderation. It's not for you to turn around and like, You know, like I said, the addictive part for me when it came to the vape was just how big of the cloud.
I know. That's when it gets bad though, because that's when you're that's a lot going into your lungs.
Right. It is. And I'm always amazed when I see it. I'm like, damn, that's bigger than any freaking bong hit.
The only time I've ever blown out something that much is like going to like you ever go to like a hookah lounge?
No, I've never been to one.
I've never been to one.
And then, you know what? The best, it's the original flavor. I always get double apple. It's called double apple because I think it's green and real apple mixed in, but it's tobacco with molasses. That's all it is in this thing. And then they put
but it's the tobacco
molasses.
Tobacco is bad for you, period, right? But in this case, is it more natural in the sense where it doesn't have all the
I don't think
chemicals or anything? And it's like
but
it's grown. You know, like you can get tobacco like that. People can buy that in the store.
But it's tobacco and molasses, so it looks like it's like sugar coated molasses. It looks like candy coated tobacco,
really.
And then they put the tinfoil on top of it. That's where I'm more concerned about the tinfoil. Anyway. And like breathing it in, you know, it's breathing in heavy aluminum. And then they put the coal on top of it. And when you go to a real place, they have the real coals. Like they have real coal brick. Not some places get the little self-lighting briquettes, and in the beginning it tastes shitty, and then it gets better. But like when they put the one they come out with where they actually like have coals from a fire, and they
not match light.
Yeah, they got like the wood coals, you know. What I mean? They put them on. That's it's just better quality. But yeah,
right.
And when
that was a big thing for a little while.
You just go, you take a big breath, and because it's cooled from the water, you don't realize it. It's and then you just blow this giant.
Oh my god, no, I couldn't do that, man. You know, but if people enjoy that, but I think that it's not as is it big still?
Hookah? If you go to Middle Eastern places, yeah.
Well, even here, I think
Middle
there's a
Eastern
handful
restaurants
of
too.
I didn't know that. See?
Yeah, and there's a handful of places.
There used to be, you would see places whenever.
I don't. It's been years though. I haven't gone in like.
Yeah, I haven't gone out. Yeah,
late 2000s.
We're too old for that.
I haven't, gone to.
I don't even think you could be too old for the hookah.
Remember they had them, but I remember that was when the smoking laws kind of were getting a little tough. So I don't know.
Okay,
but maybe outside they let you.
Right,
probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
We have to look into that one there. See, maybe we'll go to a hookah lounge and go hang out and shit. Yeah. Listen, I don't know. I think, like I said, but then hookah, the tobacco, I thought that it was all the stuff that they put into the tobacco that for the cigarettes is what made it bad. I didn't know.
No, tobacco is bad for you, period.
But if it's not, if it has no additives, it's
right. Then it's way better than smoking the other shit that they put in. Yeah. So when they grew tobacco, regularly grew it, and they smoked it, it was a different, not that it was good for them.
But they also weren't smoking it nonstop.
Right. They were just like,
it was like a
and they had
and
they would roll themselves most of the time when it first, and then, or a pipe,
Americans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
That's, they would, I don't think that.
And you can still get those. I think they sell those kind of cigarettes in these cigarette stores and everything.
I just
it's still smoking.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought that, like, basically just taking the tobacco leaf, right off of the plant itself, and you smoke that was legit, that you were good. Now dry it out, and then I didn't know that the tobacco was bad for you. Oh, well, I mean, I'm saying the tobacco leaf itself. I thought it was all the stuff that they added to is where it was that.
They made it worse.
Yeah,
they just added.
Okay, got it. Understood. Got it.
Because I remember my father smoked Camels, my mother smoked Chesterfields, my uncle smoked. But they weren't Pall Malls. Were they Pall Malls?
Pall Malls.
My God, Jesus. I can't remember. There's a bunch of them. Yeah. Anyway, these are cigarettes without filters, man.
Oh yeah,
these are cigarettes that would make you turn. You would start spinning and you'd fall down and probably puke. That's what they would do to you.
I used to work with a guy.
My father smoked right down to the nubby.
Smoked Camels. He smoked the filterless Camels.
Yeah. My Chesterfields. My uncle was Pall Mall. Chesterfields.
Yeah, Chesterfields.
My mother smoked Chesterfields. Those things are crazy. Those cigarettes back then, like I said, without filters. And then Marlboro started being big, and then the filters came in and all that other stuff. But
when the filters first came out, people were paranoid about them. Some people were like anti-filter.
Were they really? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
People being anti whatever,
Right.
It's always something.
It's got to be somebody to be anti something.
Well, because the word was that the
fiberglass
in the filter And that's like I used to smoke Newports.
Yeah, I
and
did too.
that's what it was. That and then so I thought I'm like,
But
you know
the
what?
menthol was really.
I'm gonna smoke Newport lights, and but it didn't matter because I was buying freaking Newport 100 lights.
Yeah.
Lights 100. Whatever.
I smoke Marlboro too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, get out of here. That's like a hole in the chest.
Yeah.
The hundreds, were they just bigger filters? Or
I don't remember.
The filters are bigger on them.
Funny.
So
now we went right from vaping to smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. What was the name of the movie though? Real quick. Fifth Element.
Right.
With,
Chris Rock. No.
It was Bruce Willis. And then he turned around and he was getting the cigarettes when he hit the button to get
and
the
filter was that
the
long.
The filter was like, was an inch long. It was a 100 and it was like that 3/4 of the cigarette was
a great movie. One of my favorite
freaking
movies,
hilarious,
by the way.
man. Freaking hilarious. But yeah, so like I said, but again, and even still with that movie, everybody was smoking. It wasn't even like nobody was even vaping.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that's where it's gone to now.
That's
so
what it's gone
there's
to
a mix.
now.
Oh, speaking of vaping, the first type of vaping was dry herb vaping.
Dry herb
I remember hearing
vaping?
about that. That were like, I don't know if it's officially the first, but that was the first I heard. So it was like, I remember in the 90s or early 2000s hear about vaping weed, but it was you'd put the like weed in it and it would make vape somehow out of the weed itself.
Okay.
As where now it's like an oil or
it's an oil now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. See, but then that's how you
distillate. They call it oil.
Right, but it's the resin from the
weed.
From the weed.
Yeah, but the old school ones were like you'd actually put you'd buy a bag of weed and put it in this chamber and but it wasn't portable. It was like a thing.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
It was the beginning.
Yeah, it was the early stages.
You see,
and then
got you. Yeah, no, that makes sense now.
You can still buy them if you look online. They're called dry herb. They're dry herb vape.
Really?
Okay, so then
vaporizer.
So then now this just makes sense then because I was like how to put nicotine into the vape juice. So it's pour the required amount of nicotine. So you would get the nicotine and shoot it into the bottle, shake it, and then you pour it into the vape juice, and then because you could make your own. You could make your. That was one of the things too with vaping. Gotcha. I was able to make my own vape juice. Like we had the whole thing. Yeah, me and one of my boys, we had like we could do all that stuff, and but we did. He liked cigarettes and he just didn't want to smell like a cigarette, so he would just go and get the vape juice. I'm like, ew, man! Like the idea is to get away from the nicotine, man. Like what are you doing?
I mean,
bro?
that's the advantage too of vaping is you don't smell.
Right.
That is another pro.
That is
well,
true.
that's and again, so I think that's, but then, all right, so boom, people aren't so much trying to quit the habit as they are just trying not to smell like the habit.
Yeah, I mean, it's cleaner in a sense that way.
That's why it's accepted in some places. But I think now, wherever you go, they say no smoking, no vaping, period.
Yeah, is there any such thing as secondhand vape smoke?
You know what it is? I think...
It says it. If they're saying that it's not. It's go ahead. Finish your thought, and I'll do it.
My thing is, I think if there weren't those giant vape clouds, they probably wouldn't say that. If they were like small, like vape that like dissipates before it goes near anybody. But you got the guy who's going look like a dragon,
right?
Then you can't do that.
People have to be respectful and conscious of their environment. You know what I mean? You got to be respectful. You can't just be blowing your shit all over the place.
Well, that's why I think they probably just make it
right
too.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were just talking about this customization.
Right.
Users can choose from a wide variety of flavors, nicotine strengths, and devices to customize the vaping experience. Right. And then we go here. Not risk-free. Some e-cigarette liquids contain harmful substances like I don't know how to pronounce this, so forgive me. Diacetyl, heavy metals, and other toxins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's the wild part, man.
And you have to be, they tell you, I think the big thing is to be mindful where you're buying it from, who you're buying it from, because I guess there are companies that don't use this stuff, so to help, if people want to still smoke, they're getting more stuff that doesn't have all the crap in it, like the tobacco we were talking earlier.
Right. Yeah, see, that's what, man,
but still is bad for you. Like if you really abuse it. I mean, if you're doing it every once in a blue moon, I mean, probably is still bad for you. I would have to say the same as smoking, but probably be bad for you.
The thing is, like vaping on its own, like if it's just literally like glycerin, it's really not that bad. But it's shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm
what I
saying.
had.
Because all it is vegetable glycerin. That's
Right.
the act. That's what creates the vape.
The vape. So then,
if you just had unflavored vegetable glycerin, it probably. I mean, it's still not good for your lungs to be putting something other than air in your lungs, but like it wouldn't be as bad. It really wouldn't be that bad.
It tastes nasty. It tastes oily. It tastes almost.
So that's why
as if-
people want the flavor.
That's why you have to put the flavor in it to get it. That's what I'm saying. I used to make it, so we would buy the glycerin and then add the flavor to it. And bro, when I tell you, it was almost like if you ever had grease. If you ever have,
you guys aren't bored
if you,
or anything. I'm just
when you
got me doing it now.
Yeah, you
Thanks,
see,
bro.
contagious. You want to
excuse me.
So when you have when you take oil, like say if you deep fried some food or whatever, and the piece of meat or whatever it was you deep fried, it just has that nasty oily.
Yeah.
That's what the glycerin basically tastes like.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's crazy. That's the only thing I could think to compare it to. But then, so I said, so we would buy it because we're thinking, you know what? It's almost like rolling your own cigarette. You know what I mean? You get it. It's going to be, there's less toxins and not all that other crazy shit in there because you're buying the straight tobacco.
And for me too, like I always want to know where my shit's coming from because a vegan thing. So like, you know what I mean?
Right. So you're very conscious about it.
I don't know, some of these flavors if they're like, they're from animals. Or
Right.
whatever, so
Right. Which makes sense, man.
Because you find the weirdest shit. Like there's like not for flavoring, but for scents. There's a lot of vanilla.
Right.
That is actually from like secretions from like beaver anus. It smells.
Sorry?
Like vanilla.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Apparently, if you like lifted a beaver's tail and smelt its ass, it would smell like vanilla.
Listen.
It is the weirdest thing I ever heard, and I verified it online. And looked up like from real sources, and like it's.
What's a real source? Like I'm.
Who the hell is smelling beaver ass right now?
Like,
grab that beaver, boy. Come here.
No, I mean, like,
I need to
scientific,
I need to smell that beaver's
so
ass.
scientists. Yeah.
Not scientists, but you know what I mean. Like,
No, I
from
know. We're just
religious
fucking with
sources,
you
know
now.
what I mean? But like, it's not just like someone made it up. Like it's legit. Like they.
That's freaking great.
Yeah.
See, well, going back to ask before about second. No.
Sorry,
It's all
we're
good. It's all
veered off a little
good.
bit, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying, like, that's why, like, I want to make sure I know where the shit's.
No, that makes sense too, and most people should. I mean, that goes back to what we were saying earlier. So when you just want to make sure you know who you're getting it from, that it's a legit thing and they're doing the right thing, or at least freaking making an effort.
because you never know who's putting what.
Right,
into
because
what.
people
So I
can
get
mimic other shit and get it out
Right.
there or mix it in. So that's why it's regulated the way it is.
Yeah,
to
because
prevent that.
Right, because different flavors come from different things, and then the shortcut of whatever will come from something different. To get that taste, that smell, that whatever. So I get it. That makes sense. That makes sense. But so now you can get secondhand nicotine smoke.
I believe it.
So that,
I believe it.
But then again, that goes with everything else that
But
you're
you-
smoking, that you're in the vape.
Right.
So,
But now there's a designated area for that shit.
Right,
Now,
so
So
I saw
everywhere
this-
you go, you have that, and it's always away from
from
wherever
everything and everybody else.
Right. So
yeah.
and everybody's under the tent or in that
Right.
area or whatever it is. So I think if vape or smoke, it doesn't matter,
Right,
of
over
course.
Yup.
But
So
That'd be funny.
Aren't
if
you happy you
people
don't
in
do
the
it
tent
anymore?
Were like,
yeah.
I'm a vapor. I don't want to be near the smoke.
Yeah.
I gotta make
I'm
two
different.
lists,
yeah.
I'm a different guy. He doesn't really listen. Whatever, dumbass. Listen, I'll tell you this. When I think about even wanting to vape again, I don't. I wonder.
yeah,
Maybe I could. It's just vaping. Now I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to do that shit anymore. You know what I mean? I'm good. And I just wish that the point of me saying that was that I wish that people could break that habit. You know what I'm saying?
right. So I'm sure there are, but it's a cycle, right? So now, when you started smoking, how old were you?
18.
Right, I was younger.
Yeah, I was like 17, 18.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, and then
Something like that.
I
Yeah.
smoked for a while, and then I finally quit. I'm glad I quit. But now it's the same thing, right? So it's young people who get onto something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because one of their parents smoked, or maybe it's because they don't come to the house at all. People smoke, and they just hanging out, whoever, and they just like it. Just however you pick it
Yeah.
up, and then one thing leads to another, and next thing you know, you're in the fucking going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't get away from this shit.
It's a fad. That's the problem. That the
you get
fad
hooked.
becomes hooked. Right.
Right? You get hooked.
And it's like, oh man, you know. And then we're still, like I said, again, you know, here it is that, you know, gas stations and wherever else that they're talking about that kids are buying these things, they shouldn't be selling to the kids. You know what I mean? Like
well, they are
ID.
right. They can't sell them. It's regulated, like we said earlier. So.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's what they're saying. That's what I think why it got so crazy and out of hand, and people were talking so much about it was because kids were able to go in.
Right in the beginning, it was
right.
yeah. So they're definitely working on that and making sure. At least I hope they are.
Yeah,
I know I heard, but but yeah, it has to be like tobacco. You have to. It has to be because it's the same thing. It's just a different way of doing it, a different device, another way to get it. You're still getting the nicotine, right? So you're not fooling anybody. It's just another way that people are attracted to. So then that's what they get. For us, it was the cigarette. We thought we looked cool, you know, the whole freaking thing. I'm sorry I ever did it, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully people will come to their senses, you know. But the vaping, it's just funny how when, like we were saying earlier, the cloud, the thing with the amount of smoke or whatever it's coming out is astonishing to me because I don't think ever, even smoking cigarettes, you could ever have that much smoke.
No, you couldn't, but it's a different smoke. It's a different
I understand. That's what I'm saying. So not to say that ours was any better or any less, you know, not worse than theirs. Maybe it had, you know, it's bad, period. But when you see it, you're like, God damn, how did he get all of that like in there? You know what I mean? It's like, and it's like, oh, huge. You know what I mean? It's scary.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's what the ooh was, you know what I'm saying? That's what like I said, that's why I went big because I had a little crazy little
But does it do for anything for you?
It was just that habit.
My brother-in-law, he used to work at a vape place, but he had this one where like it was you had to drip it on.
Yeah.
And it was a powerful one too.
Yeah, man.
It wasn't one that had a cartridge. Like you had a dropper and you had to drip it on and then vape it.
Yeah. So what it was. So the mod, like I said, is the battery, and then the battery came, and you can adjust the battery to how much electricity, how much burn it was going to be.
Okay.
And then you would have this little tube. So depending on which one you had, it was a little tank. In the tank, you would pour in the juice. And then, or you would put them together. There was cotton in it.
Yeah.
And then you would pour it, you know, whatever flavors and whatnot, and depending on what your mixture was, you'd pour it in there, hit that, and you would have that monster thing. And then what made it even more attractive is because you remember with cigarettes, you would smoke a cigarette and you could make the smoke rings and stuff. Now you're making these super monster smoke rings with the vape, and it was white. So you could see the white.
Yeah, because you could see the vape.
You could see a lot better than you can with the cigarette smoke. Yeah. Cigarette smoke burned a little bit more.
It was different. It was a weird.
So that then, you know, that's what the whole, this is
each
great,
generation,
this is awesome.
man, is different.
And
you know,
this is where it is right now. And I'm gonna tell you what, man, it was fun vaping. It was fun, you know, with the flavors and stuff and mixing and finding. And to me, that's what some of the people that I know that even still vape, that's what the attraction is. You know what I mean? It's not even just so much the nicotine that's in it, you know? Like I said, I can have a cherry Coke, I can have Pop-Tart flavor, I can have, you know, candies and Hershey.
But that's the thing. They do that on purpose to attract you so you can grab it.
Yeah.
Oh, what? They got the... And you go and you get it, and the next, you know, and they're like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah. And
making the dough.
And that's what I'm saying. If people just, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter whether there's nicotine in it or not. You know what I mean?
Nicotine, alcohol, whatever it is that turns, you know, floats your boat. You know, everybody has their vice, right? But I think if you're smart about what you're doing, or not doing it in excess, then maybe you know what I mean. Like just
if you're gonna have
nobody's to say you can't enjoy life. Whatever. If that's what you do, that's what you do. Fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Is there any balance to it at all?
Not
when you think about it, when it comes to that smoking.
I don't think so.
Right.
Not to smoking.
Any smoking, really.
Not
when
to
you think
smoking
about
tobacco. Yeah, when you're smoking tobacco, I don't think there is any real, you know, upside to smoking tobacco. You know, I haven't heard anybody been next to anybody like to smell like, you know, what afterwards or whatever, that it's like, oh, it's no big deal, it's just all good, it's whatever, I was having a drink and it's all good. Nah, man, there's just nothing attractive about it. You know what I'm saying? And
it just stinks. As soon as I smell it, I'm like, oh God.
Yep. In the car.
How come it doesn't smell? Why can't it smell good?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
It's a good question.
Why
but
does
maybe
it stink so bad?
maybe it's good that it doesn't though.
Yeah, I know. Because you know what actually smells? You ever when someone's smoking a pipe, you're like, oh, that smells nice.
It smells kind of groovy, but it's flavored.
Yeah, that's probably why.
But it's the smell good at the moment when they're smoking it, when it's burning.
Right.
Because later on, it stinks.
Oh, it still does.
Yeah, the tobacco in the pipe itself, whatever, you don't clean it out.
Oh wow.
It's
Okay.
nasty. So,
Interesting.
Yeah. I only know that too because again, that was some of the other shit I tried out just to, like I said, just to try to get away from smoking a cigarette. Again, thinking that.
Right. Well, they said that's what they were saying in here that some people have used it, and if it works, hey, listen, I'm not against anything to quit something. In other words, and as long as you get off the other one, if you use the one to kind of get you off of something, like you're smoking, right? So you did it for the vaping, fine, and you did it for a little while, but you only did it for a couple of years. And then you realize, I don't need to do this anymore. And then you were done. That's a good thing. It would suck if you went from one fucking thing and then you got stuck on the other thing and then you never stopped that thing. So the whole purpose of what you were doing was to, if you can do that, great. Then I'm saying do whatever it works. Yeah. Whatever works for you to stop.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So if it's the other way around for some reason, I don't think it would be, but you never know. Then just, do it in reverse, man.
Yeah. Listen, I'll tell you what, man. I agree with you a gazillion %. Like seriously, if there's a way to turn around and not have to do it or whatever, and don't do it. Bad habits are super hard to break, man.
Yeah,
they say that people who were on heroin and drugs of that nature, when they're finding that by using cannabis helps them get off of it easier.
Really?
And they get through the process where they don't want to go back.
The detoxification,
they use that to help them. So that's why I'm saying
that's interesting. Years ago, it was.
But they say they say it's really helpful. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a thing on that on our podcast or something. We'll get a bunch of different topics and we'll do it. But yes, and it helps them, and then they do better than someone who would actually. Well, most I should say. I don't want to say better because that's not true. Everybody has their own way to do it differently. Let's just say they're doing it differently, and it works very well.
Okay.
And it helps them get them off. However it works, it does. They're not getting the cravings they would normally get or whatever. It helps. I guess it curbs
makes sense,
that.
though.
It does, and I'm all for that. Like, that's the whole point I'm bringing it up is that anything that works for somebody to get off, whether it's drinking, smoking, what you got, just figure it out. And then just know that thing that's helping you is only going to be short-lived. It's only there to help you to get on to the next step.
Yeah.
Because you have a goal. That's basically it.
Yeah, definitely. That's wild. Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's pretty groovy. It makes sense because what the cannabis helps with nausea and stuff like that.
Probably a bunch of stuff, right? Yeah, probably body aches and
right.
I don't know. I've never, so I don't want to speak about it because I don't, have everything in front of me to speak to it, but I do know of it. And I think that's fantastic because if that helps somebody, then I'm like, oh, so they're using it for something good. So when it's for good, hopefully people change their mind on it and they look at it differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because I know that cancer patients use it when they go
absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. It does. They smoke weed
to help them with the pain and
right. So
I think it's also so they can eat.
Hungry.
Yeah, right. For hunger, for a little bit of pain, for the nausea and whatnot. Yep. So that then that makes sense for those who are detoxing from heavy drugs, from the heroin or whatever, because detox
whatever they were doing,
ugly, bro.
Yeah, it's no joke. I know a few people who've gone through that, and it was just seeing them. It was rough. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they would go to the methadone places, and they would do that. That kind of worked too for a little while, But then I think they got hooked on the methadone. Wasn't that a big problem later on, or something like that?
Still is.
So, but they don't have that with this though. With the cannabis,
you don't have that hook.
It's the same thing. And now the cannabis, it makes it easier. Now, of course, it makes cannabis legal. I'm sure those people can get it because of the situation they're in, because it's medical. Yeah. So, but if it helps, man,
do it.
I say, don't give up. Just keep going. Do it. You can get through it. I quit smoking. It's going to 29 years, I think it is right now.
Yeah, I lost count.
I figured it out the other day. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I would never go back. I wake up in a cold sweat in the middle. If I have a dream of me smoking, I'm like, oh my God. Oh, it's just a dream. Thank God. Because in your mind, you're like, I can't believe I smoked. Really? And, you go through the whatever. Yeah, I've had those kind of dreams, man. It freaked me the hell out. I'm like,
Yeah, no, what I did have that I had a little bit of a thing for was like the little cigars, like the Black and Mouse, is long, thin.
Oh, yeah.
With because it's got the wooden tip and is the wooden what's going and it's got the flavor. So when I went to Puerto Rico back in February,
I was in Mexico. I smoked a cigar.
Like they smell better than they taste.
Yeah, they do. Oh yeah, definitely. But when I went to PR, I went and they had flavored cigars. Yeah. So there was rum flavor and they had cherry and whatnot. So me and
I would smoke on with you.
We had I did
for
that.
Sure.
But and I had them, probably lasted me 6 freaking months.
My brother and I went to Mexico. We went with our wives and everything, and we were at the beach. We were doing just hanging out, chilling. And they have the people that come on the beach and they had cigarettes and stuff. My brother's like, they had the cigars, and they had I forgot what smell it was, but they were fantastic. I just I'll do that. Yeah. I was confident at that point that it was really more of the moment in the time.
Yeah,
it wasn't
exactly.
something that I needed to do over and over again.
Yeah. Those are the ones that say they were rolled on the thighs of virgin women.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
That whole thing. Yes. Just the best cigar you would ever want to have.
Yeah.
But so with that, don't vape. Let it go.
Stay off of it.
Stay off of it. Stay off of the stuff, man.
Don't do it, man.
That's great. So with that, gentlemen, thank you for being here with me.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Live long and prosper.
And go vegan.
Hello.